Chapter 1. The Elusive Phantoms. In all the annals of Japan's long history, no single breed of men ever wreaked more havoc or spawned more terror than the fabulous clans of ninja. Cloaked in black from head to toe and concealing a small arsenal of deadly weapons and secret devices, these medieval masterminds of espionage, sabotage, arson, and assassination moved stealthily but relentlessly across the pages of Japan's turbulent era, from the 13th to the 17th centuries. Legends even in their own time for their amazing cloak and dagger deeds. The ninja were actually capable of performing feats far more fantastic than the mythological marvels accorded them by modern-day films and books. Indeed, the real-life exploits of these sinister bands of espionage experts rival anything ever dreamed up for the fictional super agent known as James Bond. Supernatural tales claim the ninja was able to fly, walk on water, live underwater like a fish, become invisible at will, sink into the ground, flow through stone walls, disappear in a puff of smoke, and even transform himself into a snake, frog, bird, or insect. Improbable as these stories may seem, there is a logical explanation for each one, a spark of truth behind the billowing screen of smoke. The ninja developed the strangest and most chilling art ever to be brought forth from all the vast reaches of Asia. Called ninjutsu, it incorporated the Spartan discipline of Bushido, as well as the skills of virtually every martial art in existence at the time. Kenjutsu, swordsmanship. Kyujutsu, skill with the bow and arrow. Yarijutsu, spear. Bisento, broad-bladed spear. Bojutsu, stick. Yaijutsu, fast sword draw. Kusarigama, chain and scythe. And Kumiuchi, unarmed combat. The ninja not only had to master all the traditional weapons of the day, but he also had to be skilled at using the awesome collection of special ninja weapons and secret devices, including daggers, dirks, darts, star-shaped spurs, medieval brass knuckles, garrots, caltrops, lead-weighted bamboo staves, rope ladders, grappling hooks, guns, grenades, smoke bombs, eye-blinding powders, acid-spurting tubes, and a variety of poisons, to name only a few. But this was only the beginning of the rugged training for these experts in the not-so-gentle arts of mayhem, counterintelligence, terrorism, and revenge. They practiced muscular control and body movements for endless hours to be able to accomplish fantastic physical feats, such as scaling sheer walls and cliffs, staying submerged underwater for several minutes at a time, and through reduced breathing techniques, actually appearing to be dead at times to deceive their enemies. It goes without saying, then, that the ninja was a super athlete capable of great physical feats. He could walk and run faster and further than ordinary men, jump higher and further, swim faster and longer, fast for days, and endure tremendous hardships. Seiko Fujita, a ninja descendant who died a few years ago, claimed that ninja could jump over 7 feet and walk the 350 miles between Tokyo and Osaka in only 3 days. Of necessity, the ninja was a superb escape artist who would have made Houdini look like a rank amateur. He could dislocate his joints at will to slip out of the most complicated knots. He hid in bells, above ceilings, under floors, remained submerged underwater by breathing through reeds and tobacco pipes, concealed himself in trees and wells, and even disguised himself as a rock or tree stump. In fact, his ability to appear unobtrusive and disappear into the surrounding scenery was what probably gave rise to tales that ninja could make themselves invisible at will. It should have come as no surprise, then, that ninjutsu has been defined as the art of invisibility. In many ways, ninja bore a remarkable resemblance to American Indians. Stoical by nature and Spartan in their habits, both breeds developed great strength and endurance. They both learned to walk noiselessly and cover long distances in an amazingly short span of time. They could also detect the sound of approaching danger by putting one ear to the ground. Both were not only excellent horsemen, but were also skilled with the knife as well as bow and arrow. The ninja, as well as the American Indian, used flaming arrows to set enemy camps on fire and communicated with smoke signals by day, animal and bird calls by night. They prided themselves on their personal courage, preferred death to surrender or capture. The ninja was also a consummate actor and a master of disguises, the original man of 1,000 faces. Contrary to the filmland image of the ninja as a black costumed character, slinking about castle walls at night, he was a steel-nerved spy who might appear as a priest one day, a carpenter the next, and an enemy soldier on the third day. But he didn't merely play the part of a carpenter or priest. He had to know precisely all there was to know about the profession he assumed. And when he moved into a new community on a special mission, he was thoroughly schooled in the geography, manners, customs, and dialect of that region, as well as the personal backgrounds of the leading dignitaries living there. Of course, the most exciting missions were carried out at night, preferably on moonless or stormy nights, when the black-clothed ninja was virtually invisible. In winter, when snow covered the ground, he donned an all-white uniform. Even his sword scabbard was white, and on his white tabi, split-toed socks, and straw sandals, he tied, pictures, hold on, he tied a metal device that enabled him to walk easily over hard snow and ice. Pictures, hold on. I don't think it translates well. You need to get the book to look at it. On long missions, the ninja carried highly concentrated food and drink, a sort of feudal age K-rations. A proficient pharmacist, the ninja concocted his own lethal store of poisons, as well as his own supply of medicines and curatives, explosives and blinding powders, energy foods, and pep drinks. When wounded or sick, he was often his own doctor and prescribed his own cures. The ninja might be sent out to steal information, track enemy movements, or, through trickery, attempt to mislead the enemy about the intentions of his lord's army. And if that didn't suffice, he might be called on to sneak into the enemy camp and commit arson, sabotage, or even assassinate the opposing warlord. Divided into 3 ranks: leaders, sub-leaders, and ordinary agents. The large networks of ninjas sometimes had 1,000 or more men. These networks of spies also included female ninja called kunoichi. A feudal age Matahari was often a ravishing beauty plucked from among the ninja clans or recruited from sympathetic families in enemy country. Her main task was to use her feminine charms to draw vital secrets. I'm having a hard time reading this. Okay. These networks of spies also included female ninja called kunoichi. A feudal age Matahari was often a ravishing beauty plucked from among the ninja clans or recruited from sympathetic families in enemy country. Her main task was to use her feminine charms to draw vital secrets from enemy leaders. Although she was taught to handle ninja weapons, her main assassination tool was a long, lethal-looking hairpin innocently concealed in her coiffure. A man was born a ninja and died a ninja. There were few outsiders among the ninja clans that flourished in the Iga and Koga provinces north of Kyoto and Nara and southwest of Nagoya in the rugged, hilly country of central Japan. One network of ninja agents might be employed by a local lord seeking to free his subjects from oppression, while another band would bind themselves to an ambitious daimyo, a feudal lord, trying to expand his lands and power. The secret of staying alive for a ninja was to remain anonymous, and only a few masters achieved any sort of renown. Ninja traitors were ruthlessly hunted down and killed by fellow ninja. If one were on the verge of being captured, he invariably killed himself to prevent the enemy from torturing vital secrets out of him. Some were known to have dislocated their jaws to keep from talking, while others slashed their faces to ribbons with a knife to prevent identification. Since ninja often worked in teams, accompanying ninja sometimes slew their cohorts when the latter were on the point of being taken to keep them from confessing vital secrets under torture. Poison-tipped dirk or dart was usually all that was necessary. One of the most intriguing aspects of ninjutsu was the use of magical ensigns made with the fingers called kujikiri. The idea was to fix the enemy with a weird knitting of the fingers, a hypnotic stare, and strange chanting in order to confuse and disconcert them. At the same time, it served to restore the ninja's self-confidence and enable him to concentrate all his energy and willpower on overcoming desperate situations. A sort of feudal age hex, it could sometimes perplex the enemy just long enough to allow the ninja to escape. The unification of Japan marked the abrupt end to ninja activities, except in support of the state. Further internecine warfare among rival warlords or against the state was strictly prohibited, and drastic measures were taken to enforce this ban by requiring either the lord or members of his family to remain as hostages on alternate years in the shogun's castle in Edo. This also meant the outlawing of ninja networks to prevent their conspiring against the shogun. The henchmen of local lords often disguised themselves in black ninja garb and making nighttime forays against one another. However, these bodyguards and samurai retainers were ninja in appearance only, and indeed gave ninjutsu a bad name, since not a few of them were gangsters, outlaws, and oppressors. When the 17th century, the Tokugawa shogun banned the practice of ninjutsu or even mention of the subject on penalty of death. It set a seal of secrecy on the occult art that has persisted to the present day. Through the years, only a handful of men continued to practice as ninja to keep alive at least the less lethal traditions of the art. On a chance, a Japanese film company produced a low-budget movie a few years ago about the ancient exploits of the ninja, based on a scientific approach to the subject. Even the film promoters were astonished when they ended up with a full-scale hit on their hands. A flood of interest followed. Books, films, television serials, magazines, exhibitions, and demonstrations came pouring out in bewildering fashion. Before long, the half-dozen or so formerly obscure practitioners of the art suddenly found themselves lionized and written about in the press. The ninja craze even spread to Australia, where enthusiastic young fans recently mobbed a Japanese actor playing the title role in a ninja television series called Samurai, dubbed into English and viewed by Australian audiences. The recent attempt by a self-styled ninja to slip into the former imperial palace in Kyoto, 320 miles southwest of Tokyo, marked another incident in the current revival of interest in ninjutsu. Clothed in black from head to foot with the typical ninja uniform that included a mask and metal wristbands, the youthful cloak and dagger artist fled over the stone wall after a guard spotted him crouching in the darkness. At the end of a hot chase, however, he was humiliatingly captured. When searched, the 16-year-old intruder coughed up a regular arsenal of lethal weapons: 12 steel darts, fireworks, a straw rope with a hook attached, a knife, and gunpowder. He explained that he broke into the heavily guarded palace because it was a good place to test his technique. But this amateurish attempt was a far cry from the original ninja, who could sneak undetected into the most strongly protected castles and strongholds. The would-be ninja's forebear took great pride in his secret abilities and were passed on from father to son, from master to student. Books and documents on ninjutsu were closely guarded as family treasures, never being allowed outside the house. Perhaps this is why there are only a handful of authentic practitioners of ninjutsu remaining today. The rest are all outside.